The erratic power supply in Nigeria is widely acknowledged as the bane of economic and industrial development of the country. For many decades, Nigeria has been facing extreme electricity shortage. The deficiency is multifaceted with causes that are structural, financial, socio-political, and over-reliance on importation of electricity generation and distribution infrastructure. There is insufficient revenue generation from the power sector. As a result of these inadequacies, the sector is consequently reliant on fuel subsidies and funding of capital projects by the government. The future, or the desired state of Nigeria, is known by the current leadership, as efforts are being put in place to address the huge deficit in generation, transmission, and distribution of electricity. One of such efforts is in the transformer production. Transformer is one of the most important parts in every sector of power supply, including generation, transmission, distribution, and utilization of electrical energy. Most important is the fact that transformers have efficiency above 95%. Hence, electricity can be efficiently transmitted from one voltage level to another. Nigeria is a major importer of various types of transformers used in electrical power system for different purposes such as generation, distribution, transmission, and the utilization of electric power. There are single or three-phase transformers. It is worthy of note that this device is not locally produced in Nigeria, and many Nigerian importers have been accused of aiding influx of substandard transformers into the country, thereby worsening the power sector crisis. In order to address the issue, the National Agency for Science and Engineering Infrastructure, NASENI, with the authorization of the federal government through the Federal Ministry of Science and Technology, is currently partnering with China Great Wall Industries Corporation and Huawei Group to train 60 Nigerian engineers in the production of electric transformers. The Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Mohammed Haruna, told Nigerians that the aim of the partnership is to put an end to the lingering power challenges in the country. According to him, the partnership's three main projects critical to addressing Nigeria's power situation include electric power transformer production, as well as the establishment of both high-voltage testing laboratory and the setting up of solar cell production facility.
Power has been a challenge to Nigeria as a country, and it is also one of the cardinal points, one of the program of the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari. Effort has been made in the past to ensure that Nigeria has sufficient supply of power. Now, there is also a program of having local content in the power industry itself, just as it is in the other technology area. Other infrastructure, of course, require local content. The truth of the matter is that there cannot be sufficiency in power supply. There cannot be stability. Whatever success achieved in the power will be temporary until Nigeria is producing some component and some machine needed in this area of very vital infrastructure. Since there can be no any industrial development without energy and power. Now, it is within the mandate of NASENI to research and produce component in the power sector. Among the successes achieved by the agency in the area of power is pole-mounted transformer, among others. But then, that is not enough to make any impact in the industry. We need to acquire the latest technology in the design, production, installation, maintenance, and commissioning of power. For the government to ensure that there is sufficient local content using modern technology, government has approved that NASENI engineers can acquire this technology from China so that they can come and teach others in Nigeria and be able to produce our own version. Currently, Nigeria is not evacuating, that is not transporting, is not collecting up to 70% of the power that is being generated. Although the generation presently has not met the demand of the country, but even what is available is not being conveyed to the end users. In other words, the main problem why power is not reaching everyone, why we are not evacuating the total installed capacity to reach the consumer, is that there are shortages of transformers, a lot of failure of power transformers. So there is need to meet and bridge that gap. But then bridging that gap by importing is not the solution, since there could be failures, maintenance challenges, and other problems. Even the distribution companies are not able to distribute completely what is being allocated to them for the little that is being distributed. Their own problem also to age transformer and those that require replacement and increased capacity. Again, they are trying to meet this demand by importing. So until we are doing this ourselves, transformer is a major component in the generation, transmission, and distribution of power. That's why we are focusing. In fact, in the business of power, next to the generators themselves is transformer before the transmission infrastructures.
Professor Haruna noted that the negotiation with China started in 2010 as a result of the open door and collaboration policy of the Chinese government, which introduced the Chinese African Development Fund. The agreement with Chinese government was ratified, signed and approved for continuation by President Muhammadu Buhari to ensure that Nigeria is able to produce world-class power distribution transformers from its design to material selection, production to installation, commission and maintenance.
In the passion of the government, as I said, several efforts in the past were made in order to improve power generation and power supply in the country. During the administration of President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, of course, NASENI sought approval of government in order to have a memorandum of understanding with China Great Wall Industry Corporation in order to support and to improve on what NASENI has already achieved in the areas of power to acquire this technology. That MOU was signed in July 2013 during the President's visit to China. On coming of the administration of Muhammadu Buhari, that has been ratified and approved for implementation. Based on this approval, NASENI is to acquire this technology and to produce locally. However, the funds required in order to achieve both transformer, high voltage testing, and solar technology, 85% of it is being provided by Chinese government through the China Africa Development Fund, and 15% local content or local counterpart is to come from Nigeria. This is the agreement that is between NASENI and China Great Wall. However, China Great Wall Industry Corporation is a conglomerate, a Chinese government-owned parastatal that identify competent companies within China and beyond. And based on their own collaboration in power with Huawei Group of Asian City of China, we are leveraging on that.
The Chinese are providing support with 85% or $261.4 million of funds required for the 3 projects through China Africa Development Fund, while Nigeria would contribute 15% or $46.1 million balance of the total sum of more than $307.5 million earmarked for the projects. The High Voltage Testing Laboratory is aimed at developing indigenous capacity in high voltage testing. This is a compulsory component of the technology acquisition and domestication of power equipment technology, as well as successful power supply and industry. The test center, which is designed for testing the capacity of 6,300 kVA and 132 kVA voltage level transformers, can do a series of tests that include routine test formal experiment, high voltage insulation test, and sulfur hexafluoride gas and standardization test.
High voltage technology and high voltage testing is actually a vital component of our transformer. Each transformer produced and completed must be subjected to high voltage testing to show that it's safe and to go into service. Again, all the facility, the cables for transformers, the oil for transformers, the controls for transformer must be subjected to voltage carrying capacity assessment to ensure that it is safe to be installed within human habitation. So this aspect of high testing is a must. Nobody produce transformer and certify it to the market without characteristics and output result as a quality control measures of the transformer. That is one. Secondly, faults in transformer, in circuit breaker, in cables, their standardization, their assessment, they must go through high voltage testing to know their current carrying capacity, to know their voltage carrying capacity. Even the insulation medium, those that protect the electrical appliances against shock and against interacting and short-circuiting between themselves, are subjected to high voltage. That is to say, if I demonstrate with my hand, if this is a high tension line, this is a high tension line, how do I know what gap I need between them for it to stand without interacting, since they are magnetic, without attracting each other and causing explosion? I will know the gap, minimal gap required to maintain that by using high voltage testing facility.
The transformer manufacturing project covers electric power distribution transformers as well as the high voltage testing laboratory. Completion of the transformer production plant will create indigenous capacity in transformer production and enable local innovation for sustainable industrialization. Following the conclusion of all logistics and structural arrangements with the Chinese authority, NASENI selected 60 of its staff through an examination which was designed to get the best crop of staff from various engineering disciplines.
The selection process that NASENI did in order to select engineers, first and foremost, it was advertised across NASENI Institute. All people interested were asked to apply. A technical team was set up to assess their application. Finally, all sat for examination. And since we needed 60, among other things, we selected our best 60 because we cannot afford to miss any aspect of the training. Not only that, we look at people who are healthy and are willing and are patriotic enough to come and give the country the best of what they are learning.
An orientation course was organized for 60 Nigerian engineers selected for the training. This is basically to get them acquainted with what is expected of them while in China. It was also a ceremony where trainees pledged their commitment to the course and promised to return to Nigeria in flying colors.
We are here to learn the art of manufacturing of a transformer. The company we are attached to here specializes in manufacturing. They specialize in the fabrications, the design work. They design the work. They fabricated every part of the transformers and they manufacture it to the finished product. So far so good. We work in group and I am one of the management team that is involved. I am the assistant general manager of the trainees. we have been, by the virtue of my position, we have undergoing some managerial trainings. And aside that one, we have been involved in daily activities and monitoring of all our trainees, going from one session of the manufacturing processes from one to the other ones. We have been going, I've been part of the team moving from installations. Installation department is where all the installation materials is being fabricated. After the design has been, after the whole process has been designed by the design department, they send the team to the installation materials workshop, where they specializes in the manufacturing of all the installation material that is involved in the transformers. From the experience we had so far, it is obvious that, as we all know, that Nigerians are always they are blessed intellectually. So the little time we have spent here, even our hosts here, they were surprised that so far so that we have this kind of that intelligent people, and yet we have not had our own transformer companies. The little time we have spent here, they have been overwhelmingly surprised, because before they even teach us, we grab it. So if we are encouraged and adequate funding is made available, I see no reason why we should be importing transformer any longer.
We are here to learn how to manufacture transformer, from raw material cutting to finished assembly production. And it has been marvelous. To be sincere, when we came here, we thought we would take so much time to learn. But fortunately, these people are open. We have a classroom where we go for lectures. After lectures, we go to the line where we make our practice. And whatever we learn in the classroom, we now implement it practically in the workshop. From welding workshop to iron core workshop, where you cut the laminating cores, to assembly, where you do the assembling work, and the installation workshop. Now, it has been a chain of beautiful production process. We don't have the capability back home, but with what we have learned now, the spirit of our engineers here is very, very high, that if we are given a noble environment, Nigeria will be industrialized by the production of transformer. Because for a country to be developed, the power sector must be very, very efficient. From what we have learned here in Ashan, it is one of the best and smooth way to develop Nigeria. Yes, we have these raw materials. If Ajakuta is working to a certain percentage, I can't say complete, they're able to produce the raw material. It's just a silicon plate. And we need some stamping machine just to cut this place to sizes of various level of transformers we want to produce. And we'll be able to develop more ideas and more technicalities in our day-to-day activities if the plan takes off. These engineers, they are of proven track record. All of them have achievement in Nigeria. They have produced something that we are proud of at different centers or the different institutes of NASENI. That's one of the requirements. They have already, they are innovative, they are creative. Their handwork is already known. That's why that we have bond with them to come and serve the country. And we are sure, and already they are making us proud in their commitment in what they are learning in China.
The trainees left the seashores of Nigeria in August 2019 for China, where they were treated to an elaborate official welcoming ceremony by the giant China Great Wall Industries Corporation, one of the best engineering organizations in Asia and globally, and its partner, Huaye Engineering Group Anshan. The Nigerian delegation was led by Executive Vice Chairman of NASENI, Professor Mohammed Haruna.
Actually, I'm heavily involved in the project for Nigeria Site 1 and 1R. So I'm very pleased and appreciate this opportunity to continue our cooperation with the Nigerian people in this project. Actually, we started this project for over 7 years. As my Vice President indicated to you, right now is the very critical period, critical time to restart this program. Actually, the financing agreement is one of the conditions to this program. So I hope we can get very good response from the Nigerian government, and we can help the Nigerian government to get this fund as early as possible. As you know, that we have already started this program by inviting 60 Nigeria trainees to start this program as a training first. So we hope that we can have a very good starter to continue on this program. The next, we will try to get this contract effective. That means we have to start our financing agreement discussion with the Nigerian people. Then we can get some down payment from Nigeria, and then we can continue our training and the start of the contract, starting from the design and manufacturing. I wish, as part of the cooperation between our two parties, the power supply contract will be the first product, first contract in the non-aerospace industry. We can explore other opportunities in other fields between our two parties.
中国长城公司与 NASENI 尼日利亚 NASENI 的合作。
Executive Vice President of China Great Wall Industries Corporation, Zhang Xiaodong, President of the Huawei Group, Ma Liming, and other Chinese officials took turns to evaluate the conceptualization and implementation of the training program, which they described as a new turn in Nigeria-China relationship. Ceremonies over, the trainees were introduced to the magnificent transformer manufacturing factory and voltage testing laboratory. This is the first time most of the trainees are visiting such a sophisticated manufacturing enclave, but they will be privileged to do practical work here and come to terms with the operation of the production machinery at their disposal. These engineers, carefully selected, are expected to pioneer transformer production in Nigeria by 2020, when the Transformer Manufacturing Plant Power Equipment and Electrical Machinery Development Institute, PADEMA, in Okene, Kogi State, would have commenced operation. In part 2 of our documentary series on Nigeria engineers training in transformer production, we shall bring to you details of the training proper and progress so far made by the trainees, their instructors, and sponsors.